But I suppose, well, I don't know if one duck always looks very much like another, so I'm going to ask our chef, who is Lee Morgan, debuting on the programme today from the South Sands Hotel and Beachside Restaurant near Salcombe. Hello.
Hello, good afternoon.
How very nice to meet you.
And you, sir.
What is the answer to that question, first of all?
With the mallard?
Yes.
It's definitely a mallard. It has larger, flatter breasts.
Oh, right, OK. So very foodie people would have got an extra bonus.
It is a duck rather than a goose due to the size of the legs.
Right, OK, but they're basically the same sort of shape, aren't they?
Very similar animal.
Very unlike a chicken shape, which is why it shocks me that anybody would think that a chicken was a duck or
I
vice versa.
I didn't have my glasses on, but I did struggle with the flat leaf parsley and the coriander.
Did you, by gum?
But I didn't have my glasses.
Okay. Well, I'm sure that's the only reason. And cassia, that's like a bark of a tree or something, isn't it?
It is. Cinnamon is a bark of a tree.
So what, is cassia another name for cinnamon?
It is.
Oh, right, so they were saying cinnamon, they were just called...
It's
I didn't know that, you see.
Part of the full Latin name, which escapes me at the moment.
Right. Well, it's lovely to meet you, and I'm dying to drink your crab soup because I can smell it from here. But as you're new, we must find out a bit about you, first of all.
Yes.
So tell us your story. Are you a local boy or an incomer like me, for a
No.
start?
First of all, I must correct you. You very generously upgraded me to head chef. I'm not head chef.
Yes,
I
was trying to draw a veil over that, actually.
We currently have an outstanding head chef, Daz Swales, who unfortunately couldn't be with us today.
Right.
So I've stepped into his shoes.
Right, OK. Tell us your story, anyway.
Anyway, I'm from Kent, chose to move down for a better life and live by the seaside and live the dream.
That's interesting, because Kent is also very beautiful and scenic in places, isn't it?
I mustn't...
You reckon we've got the edge, do you? Right,
absolutely.
Okay. So what was your first posting elsewhere and here, actually?
Well, first of all, I worked briefly for the army.
Oh, did you?
I did bits and pieces.
Were you a Percy Sugden?
I was not.
Oh.
I was...
You weren't in the catering corps?
No, I worked in the officers' mess, but it was a private company contract.
Right, OK. But you were catering to the military?
I was catering for the military, yes.
Right, okey-doke. What's that like, incidentally?
It's an eye-opener, especially back then because I was at Salisbury, and the officers' mess is outstanding. They have very regimental, beautiful silverware that comes out on a number of occasions.
Yes.
But the Salisbury is a massive training base, and what they do, they tend to eat 5 or 6 meals a day.
And you are talking meals, not
meals,
a biscuit and a cup of tea?
No, absolutely not. They like their morning tea and afternoon coffee.
Right. And they don't get fat because they do so much exercise,
No.
I suppose?
It's a massive artillery range out there, so they were constantly out firing guns and tanks.
OK. So you get to do like both mass catering and haute cuisine sort of catering,
For sure, yes.
Oh, that's good training then, right?
Yes.
And then what exactly did you come down here to do?
I came down to take over as sous chef at South Sands.
So it's your first posting here in the Southwest?
It is, yes. I've literally been down here a few months.
Oh, OK.
So it's been great for me to come up with the brief that I've put together for today, to show you some of the interesting things that I have learnt in the last 3 months of local fresh ingredients and suppliers that I think everybody needs to know about.
How much say does a sous have on what actually goes out on the plates?
We have constant conversations about market trends and bits and pieces. We get asked for different bits and pieces throughout the week. Being a hotel, we have a constant changeover of guests. So we always have to keep our fingers on the pulse and know what's out there and what's fresh. And we're constantly talking to our suppliers. So when I'm not there, Daz is talking. And when Daz is there, he's talking to suppliers as well. But
in terms of the creation of dishes, does he give you a fair amount of creative input?
Absolutely.
Yeah?
Absolutely.
Very good.
We bounce off each other very well, I think.
Yeah, all right. Well, we'll see what's bounced you into the 4 courses that you've both most impeccably presented today. Have we done a picture of this yet, Tim? We have. We've taken pictures of it, and they will be going up on our Facebook page, and I gather you're going to very generously share at least one of the recipes with us as well.
Yes, I will do, yes, of course.
Excellent. Lee Morgan is here from the South Sands Hotel and Beachside Restaurant near Salcombe. As you've learnt already, he's only recently joined us in this part of the world, and he's come up with a 4-course meal today, which is Salcombe crab cappuccino, so crab soup in other words, with Thai spices, apple smoked mackerel, potted like potted shrimps, with a horseradish panna cotta and pickled cucumber salad, and then we've got a cheek pie and a chocolate tart, basically. More on those later. I've got the soup in front of me here. It is gloriously intense and gloriously crabby.
Thank you.
And it's got that wonderful reddy gold colour that comes with crab. Tell us the thinking behind this, then.
Well, Salcombe, when I think of Salcombe, even before I moved down here, I knew of the historic nature of Salcombe crab. And we have a fantastic company that we use, the Salcombe Crab Traders, who only buy from small boats. They 100% hand-pick, rather than a lot of companies that say that they do. These people actually employ people and make sure there is zero waste and everything gets used, and it's a beautiful, sweet meat.
So hand-picking is the way to avoid getting any shell or nastiness
Absolutely.
in. You'd think that, in most ways these days, machines are so much more efficient than
Mechanically reclaimed.
people, aren't they?
Absolutely,
Yeah, okay. Right, well, it's beautiful crab, and how have you made this? I want to say bisque. It's not far off a bisque, is it?
It is similar to a bisque, yes. We use like a bouillabaisse base,
Which is?
It's a southern French fish stew, which is blended down with garlic and thyme and spices and saffron.
That's fish offcuts and things,
Yes,
it?
it is,
Been
yes.
bubbling away.
Bubbling away, and
Yeah.
plenty of tomato, a good dollop of white wine, and all blended together, folded in with the beautifully sweet white meat of the crab, and then enhanced with the Thai spices that we've used, the garlic, chilli and ginger.
Yeah. Lovely note of chili here. It's absolutely. I wish I could always get it just like this at home, and it's neither dominating nor lost
it
in
has to
in
be
the mix.
very subtle, otherwise
Yeah.
you can overpower everything.
Crab's a fascinating thing because the flavour, especially of white crab, is very delicate, and yet crab stands up to all kinds of foodie thugs.
It certainly does.
Like chili,
Yeah.
in a way that you'd think it would need a more robust flavour to stand out. I can never quite get my head around that.
No, but as I said, it's a very soft flavoured meat.
Yeah.
But you're correct. It works really well with Thai spices. I spent a lot of time out in Thailand and learnt.
Did you? So you learnt this, the proper way then?
I learnt a fantastic blend while I was
Yeah.
out there. I travelled Thailand and Cambodia for a few months. It was a great eye opener, and I think any chef should definitely
Yes.
travel.
Yeah, sorry, you did that entirely as a culinary journey, or you did a little bit of cooking while you were having a lovely extended sort of holiday?
No, I didn't do any cooking. I just did a lot of eating.
Oh, right, okay. But being a chef, you were able to. I know what they've done there. I can replicate
Absolutely.
that when I get back home. Did you? Yeah, okay.
But watching is great while you're out there. The street market food you can watch in the early morning.
Yes, and I think you said all your dishes today were inspired by different people. So what's the story behind the crab?
The crab is the Salcombe Crab Traders that we use.
Oh, I see. Right, I thought maybe it was chefs, but it's actually just because you use their
Absolutely.
traders. Right, okay. Well, it's absolutely lovely. Salcombe crab cappuccino because you put a foamy top on
We
here.
put a foamy top
tell
and
us
we
about
serve. It's a delicately foamed, flavoured cream that just finishes it off. Serving it in a cup.
Flavoured with what? How do you get that flavour in the foam?
Just add a little garlic and lemongrass into the foam.
Okay, and the foam is?
It's exactly how you would make a foam for a cappuccino, but you froth it with the steam.
So it's frothy milk?
Frothy milk, yes.
It's just frothy milk?
Just
That's
frothy
incredible.
milk.
And
you
then
can replicate it exactly at home if you have one of the small hand whisks.
Right, okay. You don't push it through a coffee machine, even though you're serving this actually in a cup and saucer, presumably. No. Okay, but it does add something, that's for sure.
It certainly.
Very, very nice. Is this on the menu, or is this just created for today?
This is created for today.
My
and,
word, we're honoured.
Something that we will be looking at for our new seasonal menu, which will be upcoming.
I was going to say I should push this towards your head chef, and I think you might get a good response from him.
Thank you.
Well, that's one recipe down, and 3 more to go. So hold hard for the mackerel and the meat and the pud. And also, what you don't know yet, Lee, is that my learned colleague, Mr. David Shepherd, who's on after me, will be in shortly, and he will be. We know already you're a good cook, but we'll see if you're good at lyrics as well. I'm going to put it to one side because look at the time already, and we've got 2 more courses to go.
Yes.
And now comes the main course, and this is a Holston Park Farm oxtail and cheek pie, basically.
Yes.
So do you want to pass that over there?
Of course.
And is that for one, that pie? It's a mighty man's portion of a pie here. Beautiful pastry work. It's all sort of zigzaggy. It's like fold upon fold around the outside. A bit hard to describe, but very beautiful.
Thank you.
And it comes with carrots and kale, doesn't it?
Yes, some beautifully fresh kale from the farm shop just around the corner.
Right. I'm cutting into the pie here. Are you a bake-off man? Do you ever see the bake-off?
I don't get a lot
Too
of chance.
busy, yeah. But I think Paul and Mary would be quite impressed with this one. Why did you decide to go for oxtail and cheek?
Oxtail and cheek. Well, Holston Park Farm, the butchers that we use, I was fortunate enough this week to get taken out to go and meet the cows. And basically they graze up on the cliff top. There are a 4 type of cow all bred together to get the best out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And they're what you would call easily a free range cow. They just put out to pasture and they eat what's there. They get brought in at the winter and they eat turnip and kale and bits and pieces like that. But it's a beautifully sweet meat. I've used the cheek and the tail because they're easily forgotten about. People think of a pie, you think of a chuck, you think of a sirloin, a fillet, a forerib. But cheek and tail are beautiful, beautiful pieces of meat that work so well in a slow-baked pie.
I'm always amazed that cheek is a cheap cut because there's so little cheek on an animal compared to other bits, aren't there?
Absolutely.
You think there'd be a premium on that?
Well, they're not as cheap as they used to be.
People are catching on, are they?
Absolutely.
Right,
It's the same as the pork belly used to be the chef's friend.
Yeah.
Now everybody wants it. The prices go through the roof.
So you just stew this as you would stew any other meat, like with onions and stock?
Onions, celery, a full mirepoix, onion, celery, and thyme. I've used in there Quantock Brewery ale, which is not so far away from where we're in Salcombe. That's from Kingsbridge. And it all works really well together.
It's got that wonderful, almost sticky unctuousness that the oxtail or the cheek meat gives you compared with
doesn't it?
Other parts of the animal, doesn't it? Yeah,
it does.
And a word or two about the pastry. Is this straightforward short crust or something extra?
Straight up full butter short crust pastry.
Right.
A little chef tip.
Oh yes, we like those.
Would be to add a beaten egg while you're making your pastry. Some people use milk, but most chefs tend to use egg, which kind of makes it a little bit shorter, crumblier, but easier to roll at the same time.
Now, shorter and crumblier.
Once it's cooked,
easier to roll.
Absolutely.
Is really saying something because you normally got to sacrifice one or the other, haven't you?
You do, yes. It's easy to make it too wet when you add milk, but if you add egg, it makes it more pliable when it's raw and it makes it crumbly when it's cooked.
We were talking to a greengrocer earlier and he was saying that, again, it's a bit like the cheek meat and the oxtail. One of those vegetables that you couldn't give away once and now everybody wants is kale.
Kale, yes.
And sure enough, here it is. And when I see kale on the menu, I still somehow expect it to be rough and big pieces and, nice for cattle. Mm-hmm. And, of course, it can be as delicate as any other leaf.
Yes, absolutely. If you cook anything with respect, using your Aretha Franklin term, you cook anything with respect and love, then it comes through.
I can just get the truffle as well. How do you add that to it?
Make a little truffle oil dressing just to drizzle around it, which helps brings out the natural flavours that are within.
It is a very beautiful pie. Any thoughts yet as to which of these recipes you might give us at the end of the programme? I suppose it ought to be the one that is most doable at home, really.
I think the pie would probably be the most doable.
I think so too. Will people be able to get cheek and oxtail routinely, do you think, though?
Unfortunately, I don't think you can buy from my supplier, but any good quality, old-fashioned high street butchers,
right,
you should be able to get.
So if you normally get everything at the supermarket, this could be the moment that
get back in the high street.
Get back into the high street as well. There's nothing wrong with supermarkets,
Not
but
at all.
There are other places and there's other advantages to other things. Back in the kitchen with Lee Morgan from the South Sands Hotel and Beachside Restaurant near Salcombe, and we're on to the pudding course, and you've made us a chocolate tart with a sorbet and clotted cream. Tell us why. And speak as long as you like, because the more you speak, the more I can eat of it.
Okay, excellent, thank you. When you think generally about Devon, you think of cream teas. So clotted cream is a must. Mm-hmm. So I created this dessert. Everybody loves chocolate, and a good quality chocolate needs to be served simply. But I met some great people at the South Devon Chili Farm. Kaz up there, they do some amazing work. And this one ingredient on that plate really jumped out at me, which was the chili chocolate coffee chocolate.
So it's mocha chili, basically. It's
got
all three things in it.
All three things in there. Yeah. They do a great range, but this one leaped out at me. And I've used it to make a sorbet, which is unusual with chocolate. You think of a chocolate ice cream. So all the dishes are, historically, they lead one way, but I like to serve food that you don't expect.
Just had the sorbet on its own, and it is a lovely, lovely, deep, grown-up coffee flavour.
Yes.
And it's as cold as any sorbet, and when that's finished, you then get that little tickle
Just
of
a warmth.
heat, and your brain can hardly take it in because
It's
they're
very
such
unusual.
polar opposites.
Yes,
It's incredible.
absolutely.
Yeah.